Hello, I'm Vernon Kay, and behind me is Shotton Paper Mill. Now Shotton produces this stuff, newsprint, which is used for making these newspapers, and they make over 500,000 tonnes every year. Shotton is the biggest paper mill of its kind in Great Britain, and it's getting even bigger. They use nearly 400,000 tonnes of old and used papers each year, but it's being increased to an amazing 620,000 tonnes. That's enough to fill the Millennium Stadium twice over. So why does Shotton need all this paper? Well, let's find out. Take it away, recycle. Believe it or not, we read over 16 million newspapers every day. That's 5 billion newspapers every year. And don't forget, we also read nearly 3 million magazines every week as well. That's a lot of paper. But where does most of that paper go when we finish with it? The answer is here, landfill sites. A whopping 60% of it ends up in the ground, and that's a big contribution to nasty greenhouse gases. Ugh. We all have to look after the environment, so to have more of this and less of this, the government has set targets to lower the amount of waste that goes to landfill sites. Lots of councils who manage the waste are now working closely with companies like Shotton Paper, and that makes recycling easier for everyone. This is the paper cycle. The reader gets a newspaper or magazine every day. When it's finished with, it's passed on to the collector, who takes lots and lots of paper to the paper mill. Shotton then works its magic and turns the old paper into newsprint. They deliver this to the printer, who prints newspapers, which are read by, you've guessed it, the reader, who is also the recycler. And that's the paper cycle. Simple, really. This is Shotton Paper Mill's warehouse. There are over 10,000 tonnes of paper. And you know what? It's not enough. They want more. Paper is collected from all over the UK to provide Shotton Paper Mill with enough material to make its newsprint. Around 100 lorries a day, each carrying up to 25 tonnes, arrive at the warehouse. The paper is placed onto a conveyor, and this is when the paper cycle kicks into action. This massive room is the recycled fibre plant. This is where yesterday's newspapers and magazines become tomorrow's newsprint and start their tiny little lives all over again. The paper travels along a conveyor and into a large drum called a pulper. Hot water and some special chemicals are added to soften and break up the paper into a pulp,
which looks like this.
The pulp is passed through a tank to remove the ink. Soap and air are added, and the ink sticks to the bubbles and floats on the surface. The pulp travels through screens that trap and take away dirt and small stones. As it passes through the plant, the pulp gets cleaner and cleaner. The pulp contains a great deal of water, so it is squeezed in a press. Now the pulp is nice and clean and ready to make newsprint.
So how does Shotton turn pulp into paper? On these two high-speed paper machines. Oh, just run the video.
Shotton skilled operators use computers to run and control the paper machines. Important information is sent to the laboratories where they carry out tests to make sure the paper being made is high quality. Finally, huge rolls of newsprint are produced. They are cut, wrapped, labelled and delivered to the companies who print newspapers. The paper cycle is ready to roll all over again.
I really like the idea of pester power because it's up to you and you at the back, pay attention to tell your friends, your family and your relatives how important it is to recycle. Tell them not to go putting the papers out with the rest of the other rubbish, tell them to put them out in one of these. The best thing about recycling your magazines and newspapers is that you can do it over and over again because paper is reusable and renewable, and the clever people here at Shotton Paper Mill will keep using your papers and magazines over and over again. And remember to use your pester power because there'll be less of this and more of this.